The Atlanta Braves win Game 3 and take the series in Boston, led by Ronald Acuna Jr.'s grand slam over the Green Monster. Man, did Ronald need that. Because he finally just got a pitch that wasn't a traditional fastball, got a sinker hung up in the zone, and that was the type of swing I'm used to seeing from Ronald Acuna Jr. when he gets a meatball down the middle. So that is a good sign going forward. Ronald had a lot to really look forward to at today. 2 walks on the day, 1 for 3. Obviously, the one hit is the grand slam, and that ball sounded like a gunshot off of his bat. So Ronald Acuna Jr., when he is healthy and right, it sounds different coming off of his bat than pretty much any player in the league. Even guys on this team with extreme amounts of power, like Matt Olson, the ball doesn't sound like that when it hits his bat. Ronald is so explosive, and he showed you today. He put the ball right over the Green Monster. Didn't quite clear it onto the street below, but great souvenir for a Braves fan there in Fenway. A lot of Braves fans in Fenway. I know when I visited a few years ago now that there were a lot of Atlanta Braves fans there because Boston is home to a lot of Braves fans who didn't like the Red Sox. The Braves were there as late or long ago only as the 40s, which, is not is a long time ago, but the Braves were in Boston longer than they were in Atlanta. So, very, very interesting kind of fact about the franchise, and it's why the Red Sox and the Braves play on rivalry weekend like they did a few weeks ago. It's why they are the interconnected teams between the AL and the NL. So, the Braves do win the season series against the Boston Red Sox by a score of 4-2, 4 games to 2. They win the series that they've basically played over the past 2 weeks between Atlanta and Boston. Specifically this game, though. Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to get a lot of the attention, and rightfully so, because he hasn't hit a home run in about a month, maybe longer at this point. Yeah, longer than a month since he hit that home run against Philadelphia. Ozzie Albies needed to have a great game today. Just needed it very desperately. I've mentioned before how Ozzie has had a very rough month of May. And no matter what he does, he's not going to be able to salvage it in terms of his numbers. But today, Ozzie Albies he looked like his early season self. 5 at-bats. 2 or 3 hits in those 5 at-bats, 2 runs, and one of them was a double, one of them was a homer. Struck out 1 time. What are you going to do? Basically, the entire roster struck out at least once today. So, Ozzie Albies found a way to get it done and what brought some power, which is something we have not seen from Ozzie in a little bit. So, hopefully he can sustain this going into the series against the Reds. He has some good numbers against Chris Paddock. We'll talk about that at the end of the episode, who the Braves will be seeing tomorrow at Great American Ballpark. But something that I think needs to be the main story. As much as Ronald's going to get talked about, the offense scoring 10 runs after getting shut out last night. Cool. Chris Sale kept you in this game. Chris Sale did not have his best stuff, but he still leaves this only giving up 2 earned runs, both in the 5th inning both in the 4th inning after the Braves scored 2 in the top of the 4th. So, Sale goes 5 innings, only gives up 6 hits, but walks 3, and had a hit by pitch on Wilson Contreras. So, very interesting day for Chris Sale, considering, like I said, he didn't have his best stuff, returning to Boston, where obviously he was traded for Vaughn Grissom. And he finds a way to go out there and get it done, even with a lot of traffic on the bases. Like I mentioned, 6 hits, giving up 3 walks, the hit by pitch, a lot of traffic on the bases, only giving up the 2 earned runs, found a way to strand a lot of runners in scoring position and just in general. So, way to clamp down when it mattered. Chris Sale, actually, despite looking really, really good, struck out 8 here today, raises his ERA to 2.01. So, when you're in elite company, even a day like today where you limit damage strongly will raise your ERA. But Chris Sale, if this is a day where he doesn't have it, then I'll take that every single time out of your ace. He kept you in the ball game long enough for the offense to find its footing, and finally, they were able to capitalize against this Boston Red Sox bullpen. Finally blew the game open in the 6th inning against Columb. He gave up only the 1 hit, but he just could not find the zone towards the end of this. Ends up walking a run in, and then Weisert comes in, was not much better. He walked 1. Ronald Acuna Jr. hit him so hard, gave up the 1 hit. Of course, that was to Ronald. And even after that, the rest of the top of the lineup hit him pretty hard, just wasn't able to clear the fence. So, something the Braves have done really well all year is just destroying bullpens. So, even when they're not right against a starter's had their number. The Braves give you a chance as soon as they see that first arm out of the pen. So, after being shut out yesterday, the Braves really needed a good offensive day. Pretty much everybody contributed to it. You go up and down the lineup. Acuna with the grand slam. Dubon, not a good example for this, but he was held hitless today. But put all 5 at-bats, he put a ball in play. Olsen, 2 hits. Ozzie, 3 hits with a homer. Riley had a bad day at the plate. A 4 strikeout day for Riley. Michael Harris, 2 hits, including a beautiful bunt down the left field line that started the rally in the 6th inning, and then a home run to top it off later in the game. Jorge Mateo had a really good day today. 2 hits, a way to set the table once again for the rally in the 6th. Dominic Smith with a hit today, and that was all of the hits. Atlanta, 10 hits, drew 5 walks, so very patient hitting today and aggressive when they needed to be, but not just swinging for the sake of swinging, which is what it felt like they were doing at times last night. 11 hits, 10 runs, 11 hits, 5 walks. They did strike out 10 times, but some of that was just good pitching from the Red Sox. We move on to the series against the Cincinnati Reds. This is going to be a shorter episode. I don't have much of a voice, and I've been sick again the last few days, so that's why there have not been as many videos on this channel. But the Braves travel to Great American Ballpark, where they will send out Grant Holmes. Shout out to Grant Holmes. Taking a picture with Grant, my friend Grant, on the podcast Tri-Oval Office. Saw him when he was up in Nantucket last weekend. Grant Holmes, 3-2, 3.78 ERA, 48 strikeouts on the year. He'll face off against Chris Paddock, who is 0-6 with a 6.86 ERA, 35 strikeouts on the season. The Braves against Paddock, let's say your strongest guys, Ozzie Albies. If you're looking to string together a few good games, Ozzie has a good chance of doing it. 1 home run, but 364 with 1,000 OPS and 11 at-bats. Dubon, he is in 7 at-bats against him, hitting 286. Michael Harris is not good against him, 0-6 against Chris Paddock. Ronald Acuna Jr. is only hitting 125 and 8 at-bats against Chris Paddock. But then you look down the list and you see a guy in 25 at-bats. So by far the largest sample size, Mike Yastrzemski is hitting 400 against Chris Paddock. Expect him to get the start in left field against Chris Paddock. And Ha-Seong Kim, only 4 at-bats, but he has a home run and hitting 250 against him. So 1 for 4 with a home run. Ha-Seong Kim probably going to get the start at short. Give Dubon, or really, I guess you could plug Dubon in anywhere if you wanted to give Ronald Acuna a day off, or Michael Harris a day off, or Austin Riley, who struggles against this guy. So anywhere you want to go, I think the Braves have a decent lineup to battle against Chris Paddock. On the other hand, Grant Holmes, not a lot of guys in the Reds lineup have seen Grant Holmes. He's not been in the major leagues that long. But Benson 0 for 2 against him. De La Cruz in 7 at-bats, hitting 429. No homers, so just a lot of doubles against against Holmes. Friedel is 2 for 4 with 2 home runs, so look out for him tomorrow. And then the rest of the lineup, Nathaniel Lowe is 0 for 3 against Holmes. Matt McClain is 1 for 3 against him. Myers is 1 for 2. No big real damage there. Spencer Steer in 5 plate appearances is 1 for 5. Tyler Stevenson is 2 for 4 against Holmes. And Eugenio Suarez last year absolutely destroyed the Braves. And he has 3 home runs against Holmes. I think they all came in the same game last year in Arizona in 6 at-bats. So some real Grant Holmes killers in the Reds lineup, but Grant Holmes, a completely different pitcher as of late. So we'll see what the Braves can do against the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati, who has played pretty decent baseball, but just goes to show you how good the NL Central is. They are 29-26, and they are in 4th. So every team in the NL Central, I believe, has a winning record. And the Braves, of course, 38-19. That's still good for the best record in baseball. They no longer have the best run differential in the majors, though. That belongs to the Los Angeles Dodgers, who I have to assume just absolutely whooped someone last night to get to. Let's look at what the Dodgers have done as we're just taking a look around Major League Baseball. Yeah, they were playing the Rockies this week. So that explains why their run differential suddenly spiked up by about plus 30 runs. Let's just look through. Because they were, last time I checked, they were noticeably behind Atlanta. Yeah, they've been just running up the score on Colorado. So definitely, Dodgers starting to get their mojo back, and believe they took the series against Milwaukee. So Dodgers, always a threat, but you don't have to see them until the end of August in Atlanta, and then hopefully you see them in the NLCS. But I think that's all for now. We'll do more of a recappy episode probably early next week. I gotta look at when the Braves are off again, but probably Monday or Tuesday next week. But until then, we will just do these single game, single series-ish recaps and everything. I'll leave you with this, though, because we're about to cross into the month of June, which is when you really start to take a look at records and standings and who may be available at the deadline, which the deadline's 2 months away. It's a very late deadline this year. But who would you like the Braves to trade for at the deadline? And who, as a prospect, who is a young major leaguer, who is completely off limits for the Braves to trade away to go get a guy from another team? A player from another team, an asset. So who should not be used as an asset at all? And I'm curious to see your thoughts. I'll leave one or two below. Probably give it a day or two so I don't influence anything. If you made it this far, though, please leave a comment below just telling me that. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. So, a little less energetic than normal around here. Like I said, I've been really sick the last few days. Just barely able to get through this episode without coughing. So, that's why it's a little bit shorter. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.